Hey, what's good, Flock? I would like to welcome you all to episode 4 of Flock Talk. I'm your host, Mr. CharmCity, and tonight we're going to get into a little recap of the Baltimore Ravens versus Detroit Lions game, and I also want to give you my keys to victory for tomorrow, Ravens versus Broncos. First and foremost, man, we got to start with that game from last Sunday. Man, you talk about a nail biter. A game that was way too close for comfort, and in the end, the most important thing is that we have that guy number 9, Justin Tucker, on our team. Man, greatest kicker in NFL history, and he just set a brand new record for distance when it comes to field goals, 66-yarder, man, and he did it in game-winning fashion. It don't get any better than that, you know. It was just an awesome thing to behold. Like I said, I'm kind of upset the game got to that point, but hey, any given Sunday, and we saw that once again last Sunday. First thing I want to do is give y'all my offensive observations from last week. First and foremost, Lamar threw the ball very, very well. Lamar had an excellent game throwing the ball, even though the statistics may not exactly tell you how well he played. He actually played very well, man. Of course, we know we had some drops from receivers or receiver. But yeah, Lamar did his job, man. He put the ball on guys. He looked decisive out there. He looked very comfortable in the pocket. And once again, it just makes you very excited for what we have in store for the rest of the season, man. So yes, I was very pleased with Lamar throwing the ball. Mark Andrews had a nice day catching the ball. After the way the season started, where I don't know if Mark had a hangover from just signing that new contract, but he didn't look like the game changer that we're used to in that first game against the Raiders. But these last couple of games, and especially this past game against the Lions, he looked like top five Mark Andrews, man. He actually had a very good game catching the ball. I want to give you all the stats. Give me one moment. I'll have that for you. So yeah, Mark had 5 catches for 109 yards, man. Very effective out there. And I think this is just the start to a huge season for Mark Andrews. So that's something to look forward to. And Lamar and Sammy Watkins, man, that connection they had on that 4th and 19 to set up that game-winning field goal attempt by Justin Tucker. It just shows you that Lamar and Sammy, they got a great connection going on right now. You can tell in big spots Lamar's looking for Sammy, and he's coming through. And that 4th and 19, hey, you don't get no bigger of a spot than that, because if those guys don't connect on that play, game's over. But yeah, Lamar was able to loft the ball over the defender, hit Sammy. Sammy made the catch. Sammy made a move to get upfield. I'm still kind of confused why he did that. I wish he would have went out of bounds. But hey, we ended up with the win. So in the end, hey, all well that ends well. And that ended great for the Ravens. So we got to get into the negatives from the offense. And I got to start with Hollywood and those bad drops Hollywood had. Well, let me start off by defending Hollywood. I'm a Hollywood Brown fan. I think Hollywood's a very good receiver. But just like last Sunday, he had a couple of moments last season where, I don't know, maybe he's pressing too much, maybe he's thinking about it too much, but he occasionally has these bad drops. But I don't question Hollywood's hands. I've seen Hollywood make great catches. I've seen him make the easy catches. I've seen him make difficult catches. I know Hollywood can ball, man. I know he can catch. I just think every now and then again, he gets it in his head, and he has a game or two like this every season. So I'm not too worried about it. I expect Hollywood to bounce back strong, and I think his track record of bouncing back after bad games, I think it kind of speaks for itself. So I think Hollywood's going to be great, man. One thing that I didn't really like seeing too much this past game is I feel like Lamar got hit a little too often for my liking, and I think any Ravens fans liking. He got sacked 4 times, but he got hit, a few more times than that. And like I said, it wasn't a bad performance per se by the offensive line, but they didn't play as well as they played the week before. And I'm hoping that we see a lot more of that protection we saw in the Kansas City game as the season goes on. So, that's just my offensive observations from this past game. Now, switching over to the defensive side of the ball. One thing that I liked early in the game, we were putting a lot of pressure on Jared Goff early in the game. We only ended up with 2 sacks in the end, but especially in the beginning of the game, we was definitely getting him off his spots. We was putting that pressure on him. He had to throw the ball a lot sooner than he wanted to, and you saw the results of that pressure in the first half. We shut the offense down. Once the second half started, we didn't quite get the pressure that we were getting in the first half, and he started to complete more balls. We played great over the top, so we didn't give him too much deep, but he took what we gave him, and his guys made the most out of those receptions when they did catch the ball. But early on, we put a lot of pressure on Jared Goff, and I think that's the key when you're playing a young quarterback, and a guy who who wants to get the ball out quick, wants to get those short to intermediate passes. You got to put pressure on him. We blitzed more than we did against the Chiefs, but not as much as we did week 1 against the Raiders. And I think that's kind of got to be the defense's recipe to success as the year goes on. We're still not getting the pressure we want to get down after down from just rushing 4 guys. So we're going to have to blitz, but I think you'll see the defense be a little less reliant on the blitz than we've been the last couple of years, because we want to protect our guys we got in the back. Of course, we don't have the great Marcus Peters out there this year, so you don't want to put as much pressure on those back end guys as we have in years past. My next point. We did a great job of shutting down the Detroit Lions' young star tight end, TJ Hockenson. We did a great job on TJ. Now, I made the mistake of not mentioning TJ in my video leading up to the Detroit game, but he was definitely somebody I meant to mention because he's a very good tight end. He's a guy that's trying to, he's on Mark Andrews' heels as, one of those guys that's trying to get into that top 5 tight end conversation. And even though we didn't get a chance to experience it, and as a Ravens fan, I'm glad we didn't see it, TJ is a very, very good tight end. But we did a great job, man. We held him to 2 catches, 10 yards. You can't ask for any more than that. And I did expect the Detroit Lions to try to utilize TJ the way that the Chiefs utilized Travis Kelce, but as we saw, the Detroit Lions offense is not the Kansas City Chiefs offense, so they weren't able to give us quite the problems that the Kansas City Chiefs did, and I guess that makes sense when you think about the opponent. My negatives from the defense. Tackling was horrible, man. We did not do a good job of tackling at all, and I think that's the reason that Coach Harbaugh had the guys working on tackling this past week leading up to tomorrow's game. In particular, I've got to, I don't want to say call. I mean, it is what it is. I guess this is a sort of a call out. Patrick Queen. We've got to focus on Patrick, man, because this is a guy that has nothing but talent. It's a reason he was our first round pick last year, and he didn't get it done this past game, man. Like I said, he's got the speed, so he's always there. He always is in position to make the play, but he doesn't always make the play. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that he's always trying to go for these big hit stick moments. I actually stole that from one of my homeboys. We were having a conversation about it, this past week. And he said, that's Patrick Queen's main problem. He always wants to go for that big hit stick moment instead of just wrapping the guy up and bringing him down. And I agree 100%. You've got to wrap these guys in the NFL up, man. You're not going to be able to dip your shoulder and expect guys to go down. I want to say 7 out of 10 times they're not going to go down. And you're going to be sitting there with egg on your face, man. So, I mean, Patrick's got the ability. ability isn't the problem. I think he's even done a great job this year of diagnosing plays. He just has to wrap up and bring the guys down, man. Tyus Bowser, he's another guy that I saw, whiff on a few tackles. And these guys are both players with all types of talent, man. Y'all just got to bring the guys down, man. Just wrap up, bring the guys down. Hey, and let's get to the next play. So the tackling definitely has to improve. And even though I spoke about Patrick Queen and Tyus Bowser specifically, the entire defense needs to tackle better, man, because I saw a few tackles missed by several different guys. Another point I want to touch on. Well, actually, that was my last defensive observation point. Yeah, the defense, for the most part, they played well. They didn't give up any big plays. Like I said, they kept things in front of them, but it was the tackling, man. The tackling was the thing that almost allowed the Lions to sneak out with that victory. And like I said, it's not just on the defense. We know the mistakes that the offense made. But at the end of the day, we got the dub. And when it comes down to it, you're going to have games like this every year. But the difference between the great teams, the good teams, and the teams that aren't so good, the great teams, even though it may not always be pretty, they pull out these type of victories. And it looks like this might be the type of season it is for the Ravens. Well, at least we've been seeing that early on. A lot of close games. You can make the argument the Ravens could be 3-0 right now. You could also make the argument we could be 0-3. So I'm expecting these next couple of games to kind of give us a better picture of who the 2021 Baltimore Ravens really are. And I'm excited, of course. I'm excited to see every moment of it. Before we get into this Ravens-Broncos game tomorrow, I just want to give y'all a few roster notes for both teams. So starting with the Ravens, Ronnie Stanley's out once again, and Derek Wolf's expected to be out as well. Two guys that we need to keep an eye on. Both of these guys didn't practice this past Friday. Anthony Averett, he's dealing with an ankle, and Deshaun Elliott's dealing with a quad. Now, I haven't heard anything saying that Anthony Averett is in danger of missing tomorrow's game, so I'm expecting him to be out there. But we definitely gotta, keep your Twitter open, man. Keep your Twitter, keep your notifications open. See if we get any news on Anthony Averett. Deshaun Elliott, I know the Ravens are expecting to be without him tomorrow, so yeah, I wouldn't count on seeing the joke out there tomorrow. But on a positive note from the Ravens, Le'Veon Bell is making his Baltimore Ravens debut tomorrow, and I'm so excited to see Le'Veon Bell out there, man. As a Ravens fan, I saw Le'Veon Bell give us the blues for so many years with the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's going to be a nice sight to see him on the purple and black side this time around, and not that black and yellow. I'm just excited to see what he looks like. When he came to the team, he seemed to be in great physical shape. Now he should be in great football shape. And I'm just excited to see what 2021 Le'Veon Bell has to offer. It should be exciting. On the Denver Broncos side of things, so we know for a fact that they're going to be without their right guard, Graham Glasgow. He's out for the game. And actually their left guard, Dalton Risner, he's dealing with an ankle injury, and he practiced in a limited fashion Friday, but there's still no guarantee he's going to go tomorrow. So the Broncos could be in a situation where they're without both of their starting guards, and that could be actually great news for the Baltimore Ravens defensive line. Just a few other notes. KJ Hamler, the Denver Broncos deep threat. Unfortunately, he's going to miss the season with a knee injury. I hate hearing about injuries, man, whether it's my squad, the Ravens, or any team. It's just the nasty part of the game, man. But when you're playing a sport as physical as football, it kind of comes with the territory, man. But it's just unfortunate to see all these good, young, talented guys, keep ending up on IR with these season-ending injuries, man. And also, they're missing their other great young wide receiver, Jerry Jeudy. He's been out the past couple of weeks with a ankle injury, and he's going to be out tomorrow as well. All right, so now that we went over those little roster notes, let's get into my keys to victory for Ravens win tomorrow against the Denver Broncos. Number one, we want to shut down the Broncos' run game and make them one-dimensional. The Ravens, historically, we do a great job of stopping the run, and it really hasn't been any different this year. We're still a top 10 in rushing yards allowed, so that's the number one thing you want to do. You want to limit what Melvin Gordon and the rookie Javonte Williams can do on the ground. If we make Teddy Bridgewater one-dimensional, where he doesn't feel comfortable giving those guys the ball because we're shutting them down, that's kind of feeding right into what we need to happen. Force Teddy two gloves to throw the ball. Teddy, he's very safe with the ball, so he's not going to take too many chances. And that's actually, I think, a great thing for the Ravens defense. If he's just going to throw those short and intermediate routes and keep everything in front of us, I feel very confident that will play right into what we want to do defensively. The next thing, and I kind of just alluded to it with my previous point, we've got to get pressure on Teddy Bridgewater. Like I said, Teddy doesn't make too many mistakes, so if you want him to turn that ball over, you're going to have to put pressure on him and force him to make those bad throws. And like I said, they should be without at least one of their guards. And if they're without both of their guards, I think the defensive line and Wink Martindale, they're going to have a field day, getting through there, putting some pressure on Teddy, and hopefully making them make a few bad throws that lead to some Ravens turnovers. Even though they're without two of their top four receivers, they still have very good receivers in Courtland Sutton and also Tim Patrick. Ravens fans may remember him as a guy that we had on our, he was in training camp with us a few years ago, undrafted guy. Or did we get him late in the draft? I can't remember for sure, but he was on the team a couple of seasons ago. He was the guy that I actually had. I had high expectations for Tim Patrick, man. I kind of saw that he was going to become the player that you're seeing right now. He had the size. I thought he had good hands, and I just wish he's a guy that we could have kept around. But it is what it is, and he's definitely been showcasing his skills in Denver. So he's a guy along with Courtland Sutton that we're going to have to watch out for tomorrow. And they have a very good young tight end in Noah Fant. He's a guy that gets a lot of yak yards. Once he catches the ball, that's when the show really starts. Because that guy can break tackles, and he has very good speed for a tight end. So, yeah, we've got to do what we can to keep Noah Fant contained. Noah Fant's one of those guys that can change a game if you don't account for him correctly. So, I'm pretty sure Wink Martindale is, going to have the guys ready for that challenge tomorrow. Another key to victory, of course, will be us running the ball effectively against this very stout Denver Broncos front seven. The Broncos actually have the top-rated defense in the NFL currently. Now, you could talk about the teams they've beaten. They've beaten, 3 teams that don't have any wins currently this year. So, the competition they face may be part of the reason that the defenses look so good so far, but regardless of who they played, they're a good defense led by Von Miller. So, one thing we want to be able to do tomorrow is run this ball effectively. Even though the Broncos are stout against the run, the threat of Lamar that the Ravens have, they're not quite like any other team in the NFL. So you could be the top rushing team against every other NFL offense. That doesn't necessarily mean much, though, when you're playing an offense as unorthodox as the Baltimore Ravens. So I expect our run game to give the Denver Broncos some problems. So we definitely want to be able to run the ball effectively. And with that said, I'm very interested and excited to see what Le'Veon Bell does in his first game. Le'Veon Bell can definitely be an X factor for the Ravens if he can perform as well as I think he possibly can. If he performs to 75% of the old Le'Veon Bell standard, the Ravens may have gotten a very nice steal late in the season with this Le'Veon Bell addition. So I'll definitely have my eyes on that tomorrow. Um, and the one last key to getting this win tomorrow against the Broncos, we've got to get some passes downfield tomorrow. Like I said, we did that last week against the Lions, but we didn't connect on everything. A key that will get us to the promised land in this game will definitely be making some plays downfield. I want to see us connect on those plays that we didn't see us connect on this past week against the Lions. So yeah, I'll be tuned in tomorrow at 4:05, 4:25. We play the afternoon game tomorrow. It's going to be exciting, Flock. Hey, until next time, y'all be safe, and hopefully we'll be talking about this Ravens win next time you guys see me. Hey, y'all be easy.